Hey, what's up guys, Andy here, and today we're reviewing Over to the Abandoned Sacred Beasts, episode 10, titled Two Oaths. Now, this was a very good episode in the sense that we kind of got to see the first strand of Skull actually, taking initiative for Hank's cause. So, we still don't know where it's gonna lead with, the whole coup de grace after Hank, because he does have his humanity back now, it seems, but they still want him dead for the most part, from what I've seen. Now, also, on that note, I feel like this episode was drug out a little too much, in my opinion. They could have done a lot of this stuff a little bit quicker, and they just kind of made it a little bit longer for no reason. But that's just my opinion. I mean, it was still good either way. I enjoyed it thoroughly. So, yeah, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into this review. If y'all do enjoy it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and let's jump right into it.
They say you don't gotta go home, but you can't stay here. And no, I don't wanna be alone in the world out there.
So we start the episode off kind of weird here. We get a full flashback of Hank and who we find out to be Rex, or Roy, we'll just call him Roy for simplicity, a full flashback of them during the war. And then we cut over to our recap from last week where Hank falls down. We get our intro and title card here, and Roy ran off from this fight. So we cut over here, and as Hank fell, he sees Elaine. This is kind of perceived, I guess, as the afterlife. And he asked her, which I thought was amazing, did I keep my promise at all? And then he wakes up in Skull's arms. We cut over here to pretty much him just saying, I can't let them die here. I've got to go back and fight. And we cut over to the commanding officer at the moment, and he was doing good. He trapped him, and he said, you fell for a trap. He's like, well, if I die here, so will you. And he's like, once I've given the orders, buddy, they don't need a commanding officer. But then, he shows up, and he doesn't kill Roy. Roy runs off again, but he says, don't you dare do anything like this again, He pretty much saved his life. We cut over here to now Hank fighting Roy, and Skull shows up, and she says, I've got an oath for you as well, and that oath is, if you ever lose your humanity, I'll kill you while you're still a human, but you need to fulfill your oath, which is where the two oaths come from. So they end up doing it, and Skull really stepped up to the plate here, and then we cut over here, and he tells him, you sure do look cool. You were the light of my battlefield. You were the hero, And he tells him, thank you, Roy. You always having my back was what really helped me get through it. And we find out, like I said, this is Rex Brock. They called him Roy, and we get a flashback of his life, in the army. And also here, this is the guy who I think Skull's dad said he would introduce her to once the war was over. And Hank says here, y'all could have been good friends. But with that being said, gang, it's just one of those things. I really did enjoy this episode, but I feel like it was drug out a little bit. Didn't really want to see the coup de grace fight them that much, and the flashback was a little too heavy on the beginning, but really worth it on the end portion of the flashback. So yeah, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and head out, and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace out.